I'm not threatening you. Say one more word, and that's 30 days. 30 days.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Sovereign Citizens Hall of Fame with your man TP. Today, we are stomping our boots into number 251 on our compilation list. For this compilation, we will be in 3 different judges' courtrooms. Before I give you their names, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. It is much appreciated. Also, commentary will be left in the proceedings where commentary was before. Also, chapters will be added for your convenience. Now, the 3 judges' courtrooms that we will be on today. For the first judge, this is going to be our first time in the courtroom of Judge Dana Nichols out of the state of Colorado. Shout out to Sovereign Citizen Chronicles for sharing this proceeding with me. Second, we will be in the courtroom of Judge Jeffrey Kettler out of the state of Kansas. And last but not least, we will be in the courtroom of Judge Jeffrey Middleton out of the state of Michigan. Guys, we're running up the ladder with these compilations, and it is now time to jump into 251.
Portal call People versus Robert Geese, 26T884. If you'll come on up and have a seat at the table. And then I show we have Ms. Morissette and Ms. Shireman for the People. I don't show that there were any motions. I believe the motions that were previously filed had to do with obtaining discovery. Is that correct, Mr. Geese?
Yes.
Okay. And how do I say your last name?
It is Geese.
Geese. Okay.
As in candidate, candidate Geese.
Okay. So I have not received any endorsement of witnesses or defenses for your case. So I take that to mean that you won't be calling any witnesses other than possibly testifying yourself. Is that correct?
Your Honor, thank you. First of all, good afternoon. I filed the motion for discovery, and there are 6 points, actually 7, but 6 points within that motion that have not been answered. And I also filed an affidavit of truth, and that has not been answered. Therefore, I don't understand how the court can move forward. I do want to correct the record on a couple things, if I may. Do I have your permission to read this into the record?
So let's go back to the question that I asked first. Are you going to be calling any witnesses? Because you did not file any endorsement of witnesses.
I don't know how we can move forward calling any witnesses without answering the motion and affidavit that's before the court presently.
Okay, why don't we start then with your motion for discovery? What exactly is it that you're claiming with the motion for discovery?
Do I have standing to read this into the record, first of all?
You don't have to ask for standing, so.
Thank you. Respectfully, for and on the record, I am Robert Geese, a living man of the Union, a non-belligerent or enemy of the state, and I occupy the office of executor and co-trustee for the Nole Me Concari Express Trust. I am here propria persona in that regard, not pro se, by special appearance only, not generally. Further, I'm of the age of majority by both the age.
Can I stop you for just a second? I am not going to consider claims that you're saying that I can't proceed on the case because you are not a citizen or anything like that. We're not going to proceed that way. Okay. So did you say that you had some actual discovery issues that you needed to address?
Your Honor, respectfully, am I being denied my due process rights of being able to read this into the record?
You can file whatever you'd like, but no, I'm not going to sit here and listen to you just read a document into the record. Okay.
I object.
Okay, that's fine. So did you have any actual discovery issues for us to address?
The discovery I filed, it's in writing. I don't know that it's necessary to sit here and read everything into the record. You just said that you don't want me reading into it, and now you're contradicting that with something else.
Have any actual discovery issues? Is there some part of discovery that you believe that you have not received?
All of it. Nothing's been answered.
Okay, so this is not a situation where they have to answer questions, okay? This is not a civil case where you get to do depositions or ask interrogatories. As part of a criminal discovery, they're required to give you some documents through the case. Did you receive the discovery?
Did I receive what discovery?
Okay, have the people provided discovery to the defendant? I don't think so.
Sorry, double checking through the workflow, Your Honor. Yes, it has been provided.
Okay.
What did that consist of?
Can you let me know what discovery you provided?
So that would be all the evidence from the case. So that would be reports, just like criminal history. Looks like there is body-worn camera available. Basically, anything in our case file that's evidentiary would be provided to you. Typically, you have to go to the front desk of the DA's office and pick it up because there are large files, so they'll burn it on a CD for you. So if you haven't picked it up already, it's probably sitting behind our front desk ready for you.
Have you picked up that documentation yet?
I've never been given any notice of anything, and
So
the question I have is this so from
discussions about how to obtain discovery from the district attorney's office?
I object. I don't understand how this court can move forward. I have been very succinct with my motion for discovery.
So
if I understand what you're saying, pardon me, may I continue? Yes?
the way that discovery works is that you are required to go pick it up from the DA's office. Okay. So it is not a situation where the court is determining whether the case can proceed. This is not a felony matter where the court is having a preliminary hearing or anything like that. So you have not filed any motions other than the fact that you did not receive discovery. So you know the procedure to get the discovery. You need to go to the DA's office to obtain that.
I'm referring to my motion for discovery, my requests, demands, really. And if I may go back to something you mentioned earlier, Your Honor, respectfully again, if I could have finished what I wanted to read into the record, I come here in peace. But you mentioned that this is not civil, this is criminal. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So there's a crime committed here.
So I'm not going to have these discussions with you, okay? If you want to file a specific motion to have me rule on it, I'm happy to do so. This is not a situation, like I've said several times, where the court is making a determination about a preliminary hearing or anything like that. So you have not filed any motions other than not receiving discovery. I am not going to say that there's no jurisdiction to move forward or anything like that. That is not the situation here. Okay. So at this point, you need to go get the discovery from the district attorney's office. I told you that when we set this for trial. If you decide not to do that and don't have that information, that's up to you. Okay. So at this point, I'm not going to grant any of your motions because there hasn't been anything that has anything that would have anything to do with a motions hearing at this point. The court is going to deny those requests. We are set for trial readiness on July 14th at 11 o'clock. And then we're set for jury trial on July 29th at 8 o'clock. Trial readiness is the last date that the court will accept any plea agreements. Because you have not filed any endorsement of witnesses or defenses, then you will not be permitted to call any witnesses at trial other than possibly you testifying yourself. You also would not not be able to assert any affirmative defenses, but this does not appear to be the kind of case that any affirmative defenses would apply.
I object. I do not consent to this procedure.
You don't have to consent. So
Absolutely.
I am.
And I object also the fact that I'm being denied my due process rights to read into the record, regardless of what this is.
You can
procedure
file
is called.
whatever you'd like, but I'm not going to sit here and waste court time with you reading things into the record. You can certainly file whatever you'd like. Okay.
I have done that, Your Honor.
I have.
And they have not been answered.
We are not required to answer essentially interrogatories from you. That is not required. So I have denied all of your motions. So we will continue the case then to trial readiness on July 14th at 11 o'clock.
So if I may, Your Honor, you are denying that this court or prosecution has any need or any responsibility to answer my motion for discovery, my affidavit of truth, which are all in writing.
There is no grounds for you to file any affidavit of truth. There is no right to a preliminary hearing or anything like that in county court. So it is not a situation where the court is going to make a determination ahead of time regarding any of the facts. That would be what the jury trial is for.
In my motion, I reserve my right to a trial by jury of my peers.
It's set for a jury trial.
I don't want a jury trial. Why would I want a jury trial? I want a trial by jury of my peers.
It doesn't mean it's your friends and neighbors. It means it is a jury panel in Weld County.
Isn't that what it's supposed to mean?
I am not going to fight with you about this. Okay?
I don't mean
So
to fight.
the case
Your Honor.
is set for a jury
Posing
trial.
questions.
Okay, so it's time for you to go. I am not going to sit here and fight with you about any of this. All right, the case is set for a jury trial.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Before we jump into Judge Kettler's courtroom, I want to say, being that this is my first time in Judge Nichols' courtroom, this lady deserves a standing ovation. I mean, I think this is the calmest, hardcore judge that I've ever seen here on the channel. For her to be so nonchalant and so calm, not yelling, not getting angry, to shut him down the way she did. Shout out to her for not allowing him to go on and run on with a bunch of nonsense. Also, Mr. Geese, he just was not listening. But listen, Judge Dana Nichols is a real one. I think I have to put her up there very high on the list for no nonsense judges. But if we would have seen her demeanor before this proceeding and see the way she carries herself, we would have never thought she would have shut him down the way she did. And I mean, shut him down for real. But now let's go ahead and finish out this compilation.
We'll note the state appears by Assistant County Attorney Mr. Gayoso for these informal first appearances. Good morning. You are Shauna Nichols. You are Miss Nichols?
I'm sorry, no, I'm not.
You're Sean Nichols?
No,
Oh, what's your first name?
I'm the living, breathing entity, the actual person that stands before you.
All right. So
Not the straw man on any paper, any all caps person by any means.
you don't have a name, a legal name?
Under certain charges, yes, under that, but under what would be the word? Under distress. Literally bringing me in here against my will. I mean, I didn't break any laws.
And you were brought in under the name Shauna Nichols?
No, I should not have been. No, I was not. No, they decided what my name was before they ever ripped me out of the vehicle. They called me a name before I was ever able to give them a name. But I am the breathing, living entity before you here. I'm not that person on that piece of paper.
Okay. And does this living, breathing entity before me have a name?
My mother calls me daughter. My father calls me daughter. My children call me mother.
What is your legal name that you were given at birth?
That's straw man. I'm sorry, I can't answer that question. I'm just not answering any more questions. I haven't had the chance for a phone call, attorney, nothing. So I'm not going to answer. I can't answer any more questions.
All right, Deputy, based on your information, is that Shauna D. Nickel?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Nickel, you are appearing before me, having been arrested on a couple matters. One is MGI 24 CR 193. That was an arrest warrant. That was issued as a result of the state filing complaint information wherein you are charged with the following 5 counts. Count 1 is identity theft. It alleges on or about March 13, 2024 in Montgomery County, Kansas, that you unlawfully and feloniously used any personal identifying information or document containing the same belonging to or issued to another person, to it Sherry D. Dodge, with the intent to defraud that person or anyone else, to it Deputy Steve Gass, in order to receive any benefit. Identity theft as charged here is a level 8 non-person felony. It carries a sentencing range of 7 to 23 months in prison, a fine up to $100,000, and 12 months post-release supervision. Counts 2, 3, 4, and 5 are also alleged to have occurred on or about March 13, 2024 in Montgomery County, Kansas. Count 2 is interference with law enforcement. It alleges that you unlawfully and knowingly obstructed, resisted, or opposed a person authorized by law to serve process, to wit Steve Gass, in the discharge of any official duty. To it provided false information regarding the name and date of birth. That's a Class A non-person misdemeanor, carries a penalty of up to 1 year in the county jail and or fine up to $2,500. And count 3, you are charged with driving while suspended, second offense. It is alleged that you unlawfully operated a motor vehicle on a highway of this state at a time when your privilege to do so was canceled, suspended, or revoked, and that you had previously been convicted of a violation of this section or any ordinance of any city, resolution of any county, or a law of another state that prohibits the acts prohibited by those statutes. Driving while suspended, second offense, carries a penalty of 5 days to a maximum of 12 months in jail, a minimum fine of $100 up to $2,500. In count 4, you are charged with no proof of insurance. It is alleged that you unlawfully operated a motor vehicle upon a highway or upon property open to use by the public and failed to display, upon demand, evidence of financial security to a law enforcement officer, having been lawfully requested to do so in accordance with provisions of the Automobile Injury Reparations Act. That's a Class B non-person misdemeanor, carries a penalty of up to 6 months in the county jail and or a minimum fine of $300 up to $1,000. And in count 5, you're charged with illegal registration. It is alleged that you unlawfully displayed or caused, permitted to be displayed, or had in your possession any registration receipt, certificate of title, registration license plate, registration decal, accessible parking placard, or accessible parking identification card, knowing the same to be fictitious or to have been canceled, revoked, suspended, or altered. That is an unclassified misdemeanor, carries a penalty of a fine not exceeding $2,500 or imprisonment in the county jail for not less than 30 days, nor more than 6 months, or both such fine and imprisonment. So those are your charges and possible penalties in MGI 24 CR 193, for which you were arrested on that warrant. You were also arrested on probable cause, that being out by the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office, their case number 25-1459, and that was for the offenses of possession of methamphetamine, possession of drug paraphernalia, interference with law enforcement, and transporting open container. That occurring allegedly on or about December 16 of 2025 in Montgomery County, Kansas. I have found probable cause to support your arrest for that offense. Mr. Gayoso, I have a pre-sentence investigation report for Ms. Nichols from a 2014 case, 14 CR 153. At that time, she had a, criminal history score of H and had a number of traffic infractions, domestic battery, marijuana, disorderly conduct, some DUIs, things of that nature. Do you have any more recent criminal history for Ms. Nichols?
I do not, Your Honor.
And the arrest warrant that was issued for 24 CR 193, I included a cash surety bond of $5,000. I didn't require supervision for that, but in light of Ms. Nichols' remarks here this morning, I'm more concerned with her risk of flight. And so I'm inclined to modify the bond and to address the bond to cover this new case as well. So what is the state's bond recommendation?
Your Honor, we would request a $7,500 cash or professional surety bond for both cases, and we would also request bond supervision.
All right. So Ms. Nichols, your bond to cover both matters is going to be $7,500. Cash or professional surety with supervision. What that means is for you to get out of jail, you either need to post $7,500 to the clerk of the court, or you can go through a bondsman. If you go through a bondsman, you pay them no less than 10% of that amount. That'd be $750. Could be more, but would not be less. The supervision component means if you do make that bond, you need to immediately report to court services upon your release from jail. They're located next door in the old Montgomery County Courthouse, the building immediately to the west of this one. Your failure to report to them upon your release from jail and anytime thereafter they direct would be a violation of your bond. It could result in being revoked and you find yourself back in custody. Any questions about that, Ms. Nichols?
No.
Do you intend on hiring your own attorney? Do you want the court to consider appointing you one?
I'm not sure.
Well, the devil's going to give you an application and affidavit. So in the event you decide you want the court to consider appointing you one, fill that paperwork out and return it. And if you qualify financially, I'll be more than happy to appoint you an attorney. But should you choose to hire your own, or if you don't qualify financially, then you'll have to do that as well. I would note you're to have no contact of any kind, direct or indirect, with Sherry Dodge, who is alleged non-law enforcement victim in 24 CR 193. And you're to have no contact of any kind, direct or indirect, with William Schuyler, to whom you were arrested with in the unfiled Montgomery County Sheriff's Office case. If you're to have contact with either of those individuals, directly or indirectly, in any way, shape, or form, that would be a violation of your bond, and it could result in being revoked, and you find yourself back in jail. Any questions about that?
No.
All right. Your next court date, and I showed this, Mr. Gasso, the 24 CR 193 is a north half case. This unfiled case is a south half case. So when would you like these put on the docket, on north or south half?
Your Honor, if you don't mind, just because I believe that you are the assigned judge for the 24 CR 193 case.
I am, correct.
I don't have an issue in just both cases being assigned to the south half case, if that is okay with the court.
All right. So the next court date in just so there's no confusion for you, Ms. Nichols, let's see. There's no court next Thursday. Mr. Gasso, do you think the charges are going to be on file by the 23rd in this new case?
I believe that is appropriate, Your Honor. I know that a complaint has already been prepared, and in speaking with our office, we hope to have it on file this afternoon or tomorrow. So,
all right. So, Ms. Nichols, I'm going to set both your cases for hearing on Tuesday, December 23rd at 9 o'clock by Zoom. If you have bonded out and you're not in jail on that date, you either need to make yourself available by Zoom by getting signed on your own with your own device and your own internet connection. Or if you don't want to do that or can't do that, you need to come back here to the Judicial Center, check in at the clerk's window by 9 a.m. on Tuesday, December 23rd. And when your case is called, they'll get you set up on a laptop to participate in that hearing. On that date, you'll find out what you've been formally charged with in this unfiled case. Thereafter, both your cases will be set on my next docket, January 15th at 9 o'clock. And that will be the instructions that will be given to the judge on that day. So for now, you just need to make yourself available to be in court Tuesday, December 23rd at 9 o'clock. If you're still in jail on that day, you'll appear by Zoom from the jail like you did today. Again, if you do bond out, be sure to, one, check in with court services upon your release, and then make yourself available by Zoom on the 23rd, or come here and use our laptop on the 23rd. Any questions about any of that, Ms. Nichols?
I don't think so.
All right. Thank you for your time. You're free to go today.
Mr. Hicks, why don't you come on up and talk to you, or Mr. Aiken? That wasn't Ms. Hicks.
You're on special appearance and fine.
All right, well, we'll talk about that here. This is file number, what's that?
You're on special appearance in the divine and living.
Okay, could you hand that to me? Well, first let me call the case. This is file number 222036SM. Give this back to you. You don't want to lose this. This is a birth certificate for Justin Michael Aiken, who happens to be the person that got this citation, Justin Michael Aiken. I don't want to keep that. I don't want you to lose it. You need it. Anyway, that's you. Mr. Aiken, you're here under one appearance or another. You got a citation charging with having no insurance. The last lady had the same charge. That's a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to a year in jail, a fine of up to $500 and not less than $200. The second count is the one that carries a driving suspension. That's called driving suspended. That's a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. That carries 2 points and it requires that your license be suspended. So that could affect your ability to drive a car. And then the third count is a registration plate violation, which is a civil infraction. I don't know if there's any sort of plea offer at this point. It probably isn't. What was your advice, Ms. Jackson?
I advised him that he should plead not guilty, ask for a pretrial, and pay off what is suspending him, which is basically a couple of tickets of leave out of Greenwich County. See if he can't get some reduction on that charge.
That's not bad advice. Mr. Aiken, she's recommending at this point that you plead not guilty, and I don't have a problem with that. Your driving record shows that you had some previous insurance tickets that you didn't pay. And then she indicates you may also have some things from Indiana, LaGrange County.
Branch, mean?
What's that?
Branch County.
Branch County? Okay, let me look at this, because I did look at this yesterday. The staff has been talking with you. They say you're very polite and respectful, but may not completely understand everything. Your driving record shows that you are currently suspended. You do have an ID. You have Coldwater, March of 22, failed to comply with judgment. That means you didn't pay the ticket. And so her advice is probably pretty good. What would you like to do, sir?
Well, there's case laws here that states that the use of an automobile as necessary against the earnings of a livelihood as modern life requires use in the interest of realism to conclude the right to use as an automobile on the public highways partakes of nature of a liberty within the meaning of the constitutional guarantees. Barbarian versus Luzier, 1958, 139, A2D, 869, and then the right to operate a automobile upon the public streets and highways is not a mere privilege. It is a right of a liberty, the enjoyment of which is protected by the guarantees of the federal and state constitutions. Adam versus City of the Pocatello, 416 P.2D 46, 4891, Idaho, 99, 1966, and a traveler right to employ an automobile as a means of transportation and to occupy the public's highways with other vehicles in common use. Campbell versus Walker, 78, Atlanta, 601, 603, 2 Boyce, Dell, 41. Also, the word automobile connotes a pleasure vehicle designed for the transportation of persons on highways. American Mutual Liability Insurance Co. versus Chapat 60A.2 D2, 118. Motor vehicle, the term motor vehicle means every description of the carriage or otherwise convenience propelled or drawn by mechanical power and used for commercial purposes on the highways. The term used for commercial purposes means the carriage or a person or property for any fare, fee, rate, charge, or other considerations, or directly or indirectly in connection with any business or other undertakings intended for profit. A motor vehicle or automobile for hire is a motor vehicle other than an automobile stage used for the transportation of persons for which remuneration is received. International Motor Transit Code versus Seattle 251 P120.
So does that mean you want to plead not guilty to this stuff?
Yes,
All right. I
because
don't know if there's a club, you pay dues. As I said, the staff said you've been very polite and respectful, but you are woefully misinformed. People keep coming up with these.
I have one more thing.
All right. Well, anyway, everything you just said has no meaning to whether or not you need a valid driver's license or insurance in the state of Michigan. And the problem is, Mr. Aiken, you could take all this misinformation and really get yourself in a difficult circumstance. I don't know who's teaching you this, whether you learned it yourself off the internet or you've got a mentor that is taking you down this rabbit hole. But I don't want you to get yourself in a situation where you're going to have to live to be 99 years old to get your driver's license back. So first of all, Mr. Jackson's advice that you pay the ticket in Branch County would be helpful. Everything you just said has a thimbles full, an empty thimbles full worth of effect on anything. Your driver's license is suspended by the state of Michigan. You can travel all you want, but you can't drive a car until you get that cleared up. Secondly, you're not an independent nation unto yourself. You need insurance. I don't want you to get all sideways where you can't get your license back from following this irrelevant, meaningless information that you've been provided with. You seem like a nice young man. So I'm going to show you a plea not guilty. Would you give Mr. Aiken his birth certificate back? I don't want him to lose that.
Sure.
Now, you said there was something else you wanted to tell me?
Yes, if that's okay, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Okay, it states right here, under U.S. Supreme Court decision, that common law is the real law, the supreme law of the land, that codes, rules, regulations, policy, and statutes are not the law. So therefore, as in insurance, regulations, title, tags are not law. That's as it's stated here, Rodriguez versus Ray Donovan, U.S. Department of Labor, 1769, or 769 F 2D 1344, 1348, 1985. And then U.S. Supreme Court decision 1796. There, every man is independent of all laws except those prescribed by nature. He is not bound by any institutions formed by his fellow men without his consent. Courtroom versus Neal. And this decision has never been overturned.
Okay. I'm not sure where you get this stuff. If that were true, you wouldn't need me. You wouldn't need police. You'd have anarchy and people rioting in the streets and doing. We're about there now. People do whatever they feel like. If somebody says something they don't like, they shoot them. Somebody says something they don't like, they punch them in the nose. They feel like everybody else's property is their property. There's something here in the United States, here in Michigan and here in St. Joe County called the rule of law. And the judges don't make the laws, the legislature does. The judges are sworn to enforce them. So at this point, somebody gave you all this information, which doesn't really affect anything, and it isn't a legitimate defense. You're entitled to have it. You're entitled to be misinformed. I can't, and you're entitled to believe what you want. You're entitled to have a trial in front of 6 jurors.
We can do that.
This isn't even, that stuff won't even get to a jury. The only question would be, did you have insurance and were you driving? Anyway, as I said, I don't want you to get on the driving suspended merry-go-round and you'd be unable to get off of it. Whoever is giving you this information is doing you a terrible disservice. You got these tickets in other jurisdictions that you didn't pay. Now you're suspended. How'd you get here today?
I got a ride. Somebody gave me a ride.
All right. Well, don't drive anymore till we sort this out. Stop driving. I would like to see you get back on the right side of having a driver's license. This stuff is not helpful. It doesn't aid your cause. It has little meaning. And the bottom line is you need to have a valid driver's license. You need to have insurance. This stuff doesn't carry any love or weight in any court in the state of Michigan. So I'm going to show you're pleading not guilty. We'll send you out to the court office. We'll have a pretrial. You can share your thoughts and beliefs with the prosecutor. It'll probably just make them mad. But Miss Jackson's advice is a good one. If you can go get the tickets paid off, get your license available to get it, they may give you some consideration. But you live in Constantine, which is a little place.
Right.
Every time you drive, they're going to pull you over again.
Yeah, that's
We're going to
different.
be on the merry-go-round and we won't be able to get off of it. So, like I said, you've always been polite and respectful, and you're entitled to believe what you want. But this isn't helpful to your cause. So we'll get a pretrial, let you share that information with the prosecutor, see what they want to do. But Ms. Jackson's advice, I think, is good advice.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Aiken, why don't you take him out to the counter? Now, what's going to happen next, and I apologize, once upon a time, we used to do the pretrial right here at the time of the arraignment. But with county cases, we're not able to do that presently. Are you missing work right now?
No, not right now.
Okay, good. I don't want you to have to take time off from work to come back here, but we'll talk further about this. And if you want a trial, you're ultimately entitled to have one. My hope is you could get some of this stuff squared away and the prosecutor will give you some consideration to help you get your valid license back. But when you were young, you took driver's ed, you did all the steps you needed to do to get a valid license?
Correct. I did then. That was before I actually started researching into law, actual common law of the United States of America, which is common law, God's law. Legal is undoing of God's law, illegally. That's what it comes down to. I mean, I know you don't know it. It's just there's a whole bunch of fraud.
Well, I didn't just fall off the turnip truck. I've been here for 42 years, and people have been making these harebrained arguments for years, and they don't carry any weight. And I'm sorry that you have gone down this path, but it isn't going to be beneficial. And the better, and you went to all the effort to get a driver's license. Don't throw it away because of some mistaken beliefs about something that was rendered in 1796. So anyway, we'll send you out for a pretrial and we'll see where this goes. But I appreciate the fact that you are polite, respectful, and you have a right to believe misinformation if you want to, but it isn't in your best interest. All right, good luck, sir. We'll probably talk further.
I'm not threatening you. Say one more word and that's 30 days. 30 days.